Welcome back to another Conductor Sunday live stream. I'm your host, Theme Park Conductor, and today we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We got some reviews of some videos coming from David from Fresh Baked. We have some breaking news about Netflix buying WB and how that's going to influence and change Universal Parks across the board. We also have some other topics I want to talk about regarding Disney, and I'm doing it solo today. I don't have any guests with me, so this is going to be a great one. I already see we have people in the chat, so let's highlight some of these comments here. We got David, always in the house. He's actually coming from Cancun, Mexico. That's where he's tuning in tonight. So always great to see David. We got the one and only Orange Go 55, one of our great moderators here on Theme Park Conductor, and I'm always on his channel doing content. So he's such a great content creator and such a great friend. And that wild wicked hair, I love that hair. He needs to patent that hair. I keep telling him every time. We also got Han and Mermaid 13 in the house. Always great to see Han and Mermaid in the chat. We got Giant Peter's Adventure. Always great to have him. And Giant Adventure says, I don't see George, so I can at least make my dinner reservations tonight. I know. George is still at the parks. I think he's at DCA tonight, so that's where he's at. We got Tommy Toon World in the house. Always a great friend, my partner in crime in the theme parks. I think he's there with George and DCA tonight, so always great to see him. We got Remy D in the house, and Han and Mermaid 13. Always a great supporter. One of our fairly new supporters here on Theme Park Conductor, and she is a cast member at Disneyland. So shout out to her, man. The customer service game is no joke. I will promise you that one. It's ruthless out there. But the first thing we're going to talk about, because I want to kind of spend a little more time on the video aspect. So we're going to actually read an article. I have two articles, but I'm going to start with one article, and this is talking about the Netflix buying WB. So let me share my screen real quick with you guys, and we're going to get right into it. And at any point, if you have any comments, I'll read them as we go. So definitely, if you have any comments, share them in the chat, and we'll review it. But this is from Deadline.com, and the title of this is Netflix and Warner Bros. Discovery confirm $82.7 billion mega deal that reshapes the industry. So I want to ask you guys first off, and you know what? Let me make this. Give me 1 second, guys. I thought it was a little bit bigger. That way you guys can read along with me. What do you guys think about, Netflix buying WB? Personally, for me, I've talked to Orange Go 55 dozens and dozens of times in the last couple months, and we've both come to agreement that Comcast shouldn't have bought them. But what do you guys think about Netflix buying Warner Brothers? Do you think current projects are still going to be, going forward, or you think they're going to be canceled? What do you think is going to go on with that? Let me know in the comments. We got Han and Mermaid 13. Will we need a extinguisher for the stream you have today? I don't know. I might get spiced up. You never know. Giant Peter Adventure says stock-wise WBD went up 6%. And that's not surprising with a merger like this. That is not surprising to me that the stock prices went up a little bit. So that's a good thing. But we'll have to see. Remy D says, I'm all for it now. I pay for both Netflix and Max. Price hike from Netflix is better than price hike from both services. Yeah, so we could possibly see a merger between the two apps, kind of like what Disney's doing with Hulu and getting rid of Hulu altogether, the Hulu app, and just having everything on Disney Plus, the Disney Plus app. So I can see a merger happening very soon with that as they finalize the details. Giant Peter's Adventure says, movie theater wise, it's bad, but I do have Netflix and not HBO Max, so at least I get more content to pay a few more bucks. That's true. That's true. But there's been people posting across the board saying that they canceled their Netflix subscription, that they're not happy about this. So I don't know what to think about it, quite frankly. To be perfectly honest with you guys, Netflix out of between them and Paramount, I think Netflix was the better option if Comcast was not going to get WB. The only reason being is because there's already some hints that Warner Brothers wants to incorporate DC IP into the Universal parks, and they're willing to make a deal on that. And on top of that, we've seen Netflix properties, which I'm going to play a video from my own channel about. It was a Halloween Horror Nights house based off Stranger Things. So Netflix and Universal have worked together many times before. So this might be a positive thing, the next best thing than Comcast owning WB. But let's get to the article. It says right here, Netflix is officially buying Warner Brothers Discovery for a total enterprise value of $82.7 billion. The industry-changing deal will see Netflix paying 27.75 a share for the Venerable Hollywood studio with a total equity value of $72 billion. Netflix will acquire Warner Brothers, including its film and television studio, HBO Max, and HBO, subject to regulatory conditions, of which there will be several. The deal will follow after WBD's global network division, Discovery Global, spins out into a new public traded company, a move that is now expected to happen in Q3 of 2026. It says in their official announcement, Netflix says it expects to maintain Warner Brothers' current operations and build on its strengths, including theatrical releases for films. Netflix added to the acquisition will also allow the company to expand U.S. production capacity. So it sounds like Netflix wants to keep the current projects going. So I really hope that's the case, and I hope they don't change their mind. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But anything can change on the dime, for the better or for the worse. So we'll just have to wait and see. But before I continue, we got Kiki and Luca in the house. Always great to see Kiki and Luca. Kiki and Luca also says, I hope this deal isn't approved. It's a disaster. Well, Kiki and Luca, if you can post in the comments why you think that is. Personally, for me, I think it's better than Paramount owning them, but post in the comments. Kiki and Luca also said, so I read something very interesting. I read that Netflix is obtaining Warner Brothers in part to obtain its intellectual property, but not for the reasons you think. Giant Peter Venture says, supposedly Netflix CEO met with the current administration. They did like the idea of Netflix having WBD. Yeah, I heard something very similar, that the administration did not want Comcast to own it. I don't know how they felt about Paramount, but they definitely didn't want Comcast to own it. Kiki and Lucas says, the article I read said that in the future, I don't know how much in the future, but most of the movies will be AI. Interesting. I just hope that whatever Netflix does with WB is not as bad as Netflix restaurant I saw in Vegas. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Who knows? And then uh, uh, you said, I don't think that Netflix will not buy Warner Brothers. I want Universal Comcast to get Warner Brothers. Instead, it doesn't matter who gets Warner Brothers. It's just my own thoughts about it. Well, true, but Netflix already bought Warner Brothers and they're finalizing the deal. So things can always fall apart. So we'll have to wait and see, but it's pretty finalized at this point. Kiki and Lucas says Netflix will then be able to use the IP of Batman or Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones and easily make cheap versions and put it on their I hope they don't. I Kiki and Luca, I could not agree with you anymore with that comment, because if they start cheaping out with Batman, Lord of the Rings, and Game of Thrones, you are going to see so many cancellations with Netflix, with HBO. It's going to make all of our heads spin, and there's going to be picket lines outside the studio. So hopefully that does not happen. Kiki and Lucas says it. So it's a race to obtain the IP. Absolutely. But continuing with the article yesterday, Deadline reported that Netflix had beaten out Paramount and Comcast to buy WBD. The announcement a few minutes ago confirmed the agreement. The boards of both Netflix and WBD voted unanimously to approve the deal. Our mission has always been to entertain the world, said Ted Sarandos, co-CEO of Netflix, by combining Warner Brothers' incredible library of shows and movies, from timeless classics like Casablanca, Citizen Kane, to modern favorites like Harry Potter and Friends, with our culture-defining titles like Stranger Things, K-pop Demon Hunters, and Squid Game. Will be able to do that even better. Together, we can give audiences more of what they love and help define the next century of storytelling. Greg Peters, the other co-CEO of Netflix, said the acquisition would improve our offerings and accelerate our business for decades to come, adding, Warner Brothers has helped define entertainment for more than a century and continues to do so with a phenomenal creative executives and production capabilities. With our global reach and proven business model, we can introduce a broader audience to the worlds they create, giving our members more options, attractions, more fans to our best in class streaming service, strengthening the entire entertainment industry and creating more value for shareholders. Today's announcement combines two of the greatest storytelling companies in the world to bring to even more people the entertainment they love to watch the most. That David Zaslav, president and CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery. For more than a century, Warner Brothers has thrilled audiences, capturing the world's attention and shaped our culture. By coming together with Netflix, we will ensure people everywhere will continue to enjoy the world's most restoring stories for generations to come. The terms of the agreement will see WBD shareholders receive 23.25 in cash and 4.5 in shares of Netflix common stock for WBD common stock share. Moelis and Company LLC is acting as Netflix financial advisor, and Skadden Arps Slate Merger Flom LLP is serving as legal counsel. Wells Fargo is acting as a additional financial advisor, along with BNP, and HSBC is providing committed debt financing related to the transaction. So let me get to some of the comments here, because I saw a couple of you commented. Kevin Davis, I don't think I've ever had you in the chat before, so welcome to Conductor Sunday Livestream. You said WB content going to Netflix isn't a bad deal at all. People is overreacting. WB has been struggling a long time. They can make a comeback. No, absolutely true, Kevin. Absolutely true. I just don't know how it's going to work with Comcast, Universal, and Netflix. Like I stated right at the beginning, that Comcast and Netflix have worked together and have brought properties for Halloween Horror Nights to Universal. And then, Warner Brothers, right when they struck the deal between Netflix and Warner Brothers, um, Warner Brothers was reaching out to Universal Comcast to possibly incorporate DC into their theme parks. So, um, this might not be a bad thing, but everyone's entitled to their opinion. Remy D said, in retrospect, Comcast never had a chance with over 90 billion debt, twice that of Warner. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. The debt is what's killing them. But then on the other hand, um, I'm kind of glad in a way that it was Netflix that bought them and not Paramount. I think Paramount, um, Netflix wanted to pick apart kind of like what Comcast wanted to do with WB, and Paramount wanted the whole thing. Why? I don't know, because part of Warner Brothers is that linear, and linear is dying out. Linear is like the way of the dinosaur at this point. You said, can you imagine the possibilities of Universal Comcast buys Warner Brothers for a new attraction IP like Looney Tunes and DC Superhero Island, Scooby-Doo, Tom and Jerry IP, and well, it's interesting you say that, because even though Warner Brothers did not sell to Comcast and Netflix bought them, Netflix is going to want to try to, alleviate some of that debt. And what's the best way to alleviate some of that debt is to continue working with Comcast, who is now going to be paying to have IPs in their park like Harry Potter, the Scooby-Doo meet and greet that we have in the park, both on the West Coast and the East Coast, not to mention the Scooby-Doo IP that we're going to be getting for FanFest nights this year or this upcoming year. Then whatever Warner Brothers IP library we decide to incorporate into Halloween Horror Nights in the future. So it would be more beneficial at this point to have Netflix work with Comcast to alleviate some of that debt, because now they're majorly in debt by buying that. So, and they had to take a loan out to buy Warner Brothers. So I can't see why a partnership between Netflix and Comcast will not become a reality, and why the Harry Potter franchise in the Universal Parks will not be renegotiated for a new deal once the current deal expires. So I can't see why. Giant Peter's Adventure says Comcast would have to spin off a lot of stuff, especially after having to spend a lot on rights for HHN, MLB, on NBC, NBA, Epic Universe, and Great Britain. No, you're absolutely right. A lot of those come in the factor, Giant Peter Adventures. So the one good thing, like I said, the one good thing I could say out of this deal between Netflix and Warner Brothers is the mere fact that Netflix bought them. Netflix has history working with Comcast, and Warner Brothers was already reaching out. It's in the public forum that Warner Brothers wanted to see if Universal would be interested in incorporating DC IP into their parks. So it's not such a bad thing. But yes, Comcast would have to spin off a lot of stuff to even attempt to try to reach a deal with WB. The only other thing I could say is Epic Universe is doing great. They're expanding. Great Britain, they're building a resort out there. They're doing current expansions to their domestic parks, where we see it out here in Hollywood. Also, in a couple years, we're having the Olympics for 2 weeks, which the Olympics are going to be the main hub of where the Olympics are going to be held is on Universal property. Like I'm talking like the media center aspect of it. And plus they're going to have games, Olympic games on the lot, on the lower lot, and some of the sound stages and whatnot. So that is a great benefactor for Universal out here in Hollywood, and for the company being the host and being having the exclusive rights for the games. So that's going to be very beneficial to Comcast in the near future by far. But reading on, it says Allen and Company, JP Morgan, and Evercore are financial advisors to Warner Bros. Discovery and Watchtail Lipton, Rosen and Katz, and I can't say these names. These names are so weird. Debbie Voss and Plimpton LLP are serving as legal counsel. Policies have played a key role in the protracted sale since the start, and one can imagine we will hear from the White House soon on today's news. The Ellison family has close ties to President Trump. Paramount has considerably argued that it is the only one of the three offers with a clear path to closing, insisting an open letter published yesterday that the rival offers from Netflix and Comcast both present serious issues that no regulator will be able to ignore. Paramount said it believed Netflix, being the dominant streamer in the U.S., let me see. I think I lost my spot real quick. It bounced on me here. Let me see. Rivals. Okay. Oh, being the dominant streamer in the US and globally would face major artistic hurdles adding HBO Max to the fold. David Ellison's company also called the sale process unfair and titled towards Netflix. WB countered, and its board attending its furious obligations with the utmost care, and that they have fully and robustly complied with them and will continue to do so. Well, I'm not gonna read anymore, but you guys kind of get the gist of what's going on. We got Abigail, that is Hollow Gelato, aka George, Disney George's wife. Always great to see Abigail in the chat. Remy said, I find it funny that Paramount is complaining about unfairness while bragging about having the president's blessing. Tone death much. Well, see, it's funny. It's funny you say that, Remy D, because I'm not going to jump into politics because everyone has their own views and it's such a touchy subject. But I will tell you this: when they're bragging that they have, you know, favoritism between the president of the United States, which is the federal government, and a company that's trying to acquire another company that's been, on the downslope, but in its prime was a monopoly in a way and a powerhouse. It kind of doesn't make you look too good when you're bragging online that you have a friendship with the federal government, aka the president of the United States, that can make that call in a way, because the FCC is also part of the federal government and also does have a say when companies like this try to merge and buy each other out. So I think that's part of the reason why the Ellisons and Paramount were not able to acquire WB, because of that reason. Because they were bragging online, and they continue to brag that they're sitting there saying that they basically have a hand in the president's pocket. You don't do that when you're trying to buy out another company. You just don't do that. Let's see. It says, you guys are getting a Luigi's Mansion dark ride. Use the intimate multi-mover ride system and ETF ride systems as future expansions for Super Nintendo World. Well, I wish that was true. I wish we were getting Luigi's Mansion, but something I found out, and I'm glad you brought this comment up, is because any type of Nintendo property, doesn't matter what it is. I actually found this out from somebody, and I forgot who I talked to. They actually said it's actually a rule or a law or some type of mandate or whatever it might be in Japan. You know, if they opened a Luigi's Mansion, if they built it, so Universal Japan has the rights first, or just Japan in general has the rights first to open and build that land before any domestic parks can have access to that. So I would love to believe that we would get a Luigi's Mansion, but I don't think it's possible without Japan building it first, and then um possibly the domestic parks having it after that. But let me get to my next topic I want to talk about, because that's pretty much it for the WB stuff. But I'm gonna play this for you guys. You know, again, this was Stranger Things. This was the last time this was at HHN. Um, and I absolutely enjoyed it. So let's take a look.
Eventually, we'll reach a breaking point. When that happens, Hawkins will fall. I'm not gonna lie to you. My friends are what have you done? It's not time for you to see where take a seat, Nancy. It's time. My friends. It's time. I said, stay away! Where are you going? Don't be scared. I said, stay away!
It's so easy to become a
Of course.
podcaster with Riverside.
Sorry,
First,
guys.
go to Riverside and open an account. When you're ready to record, just hit rec to capture high.
Okay, that was it anyway. Okay, so I just wanted to show that, since we're talking about WB and Stranger Things, and there were a couple comments. Abigail says, "Oh yeah, Stranger Things needs to come back to HHN." I couldn't agree more. Based off season 5, I would love to see it. Haunted Mermaid 13 says, "I don't want Stranger Things to end." Either do I. I don't know if they'll renew it for a couple more seasons. I don't know what the deal is now with Netflix merging with WB. If I know the season 5 was supposed to be the last of it, but who knows? Maybe they'll renew it. Who knows? Haunted Mermaid 13 says holiday screams indeed. Oh, absolutely. 100%. But the next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna talk about Disney now, because this is another article. This is from WWNT, talking about the new animation courtyard going into Hollywood Studios that's replacing their Star Wars launch bay. And I want to get your guys' opinion about that. So let me go to the article. And again, this is courtesy from WDWNT today. So definitely please do go check them out. They are an awesome source for any Disney news whatsoever. So I encourage you to go check them out. Haunted Mermaid 13 says, "I saw something with a spinoff with Nancy." Really? Well, that will definitely be interesting. Just going to increase so we can all see this, because my eyes are not what they used to be. That's for damn sure. Okay, so the title of this is 6 new character meet and greets coming to Disney's Hollywood Studios and off the page. So, I want to ask you guys, because actually a good friend of the channel, he was actually in the chat earlier when I started Conductor Sunday live stream today, or this afternoon, and I did a video with him. It's going to be coming out, I think, either tonight or tomorrow. But we were talking about this exact thing, the animation courtyard, and what I found interesting was, I think it was Jack from DSNY, or it was Orange Grove. I think it was both gentlemen. I actually found out that Animation Courtyard was actually here once before in this area where they're rebuilding it, and then it went to Star Wars Launch Bay, and now they're going back to Animation Courtyard. And I said on Orange Grove's video, and definitely go check that out when he drops it. It's an awesome video. That I said it almost seems like Disney doesn't know what they want to do. First, they had this land here with the Animation Courtyard and all that. Then they got rid of it to reskin it to Star Wars Launch Bay, and now they got rid of Star Wars Launch Bay, and now they're putting it back as Animation Courtyard. And I find it immediately funny that they're bringing Mickey's Sorcerer's hat back, but obviously not at the big scale that they once had before, that blocked the view of the Chinese theater out there. That holds Mickey and Minnie's, and before that it hosted the Great Movie Ride. I just find it interesting that they're reskinning it back to something they had once before. But let's see. Giant Peter's Adventure said Disney World gets the better off the page. No, 100%. And the reason that is, Giant Peter's Adventure is because, Walt Disney World is a tourist destination. That's why I think they decide to get the better stuff out there and they have more room to do so. Out here in California, I've said it time and time again, with guests on this show and then me being a guest on Hollow Gelato and Orange Grove 55, is that I kind of feel the Walt Disney Company in general knew back before COVID happened, maybe 2019, maybe even sooner than that California was going to host the Olympics once again after not hosting it since I think it was 89. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was 89 the last time we hosted the Olympics out here in California, aka Los Angeles. Correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. But, you know, I kind of have a funny 84. Thank you, Peter's Adventure. I knew it was somewhere around there. So it was 84. But still, I kind of feel that they knew before 2019 that we were going to get the Olympics back here in Southern California. And it seems like a lot of the projects, don't get me wrong, we got projects here at the Disneyland Resort, but the projects at Walt Disney World seem to be moving so much more faster than out here in Southern California at the Anaheim Disneyland Resort. And it's kind of sad because one of the things I've talked about, again, with Orange Grove 55 a lot, and even Hollow Gelato, is how the Eastern Gateway parking structure got announced and approved 2 years ago. They could have had that built already because that's in an area where it's cast member parking. It's not guest related at all. So they couldn't have built it there. They couldn't have had it done. All they had to worry about now is building the bridge across harbor, and they couldn't have had it done. Why they decided not to do that, I have no idea. Why they basically shoehorn themselves in a way. From again, a great source from Fresh Baked. We're going to watch 2 of his videos tonight on Conductor Sunday Livestream. He mentioned on one of his previous videos, I think it was Fresh Baked Presents. That's one of his sister channels to Fresh Baked. He mentioned that he's talked to people inside the company that might know a little more information, and now they're pushing back Monsters Inc. Mike and Sully to the rescue to close now in May of 2026 instead of like January or February. So is it really early 2026? I don't think so. And then you got, once they close it, you got at least about 2 months minimum to go in there, strip the animatronics out of there, take out any theming they want to use that possibly they could save for future projects, or even the new land they're building at Walt Disney World and Hollywood Studios with or the where the Muppets 3D land was, to incorporate it into Monstropolis, so that's going to take some time. So they won't even begin demolition of that attraction, the building surrounding it, and expanding into the bus unload and load area until at least August, if not September. And that's going to be a disaster because that's literally almost the kickoff of the holiday season. So that's just going to be an epic disaster. And then they're talking about not even starting the Eastern Gateway and Avatar until almost Avengers Campus is done with the 2 attractions, which we've been hearing about this e-ticket attraction since 2019, and it's changed different variations over the years. So I kind of feel like they're shooting themselves in the foot. Meanwhile, you got their competitor, Universal Hollywood, 50 miles away, building a massive roller coaster, building new security hubs so that way they can incorporate new and upcoming live nighttime entertainment, hopefully back into their city walk. We're seeing it with new additions already with Slice House, which has been a massive hit for City Walk. We got Raising Cane's opening on the 11th, and you know, I'm actually going to be there on the 11th, and I'm actually not going in the Universal. I'm going to just camp out at Raising Cane's and be one of the first people to walk in. So I'm going to be there, and I cannot wait. And then you got other additions coming to City Walk, hopefully in the near future. So again, I say this comparison because you got Universal, who doesn't care about money in a way, and they just say, hey, build new experiences for our guests, and they know how to take care of their annual pass holders. And on top of that, I kind of feel that they're winning the battle with the after dark events. And then you got Disney over here saying, oh, well, we want to build new things. We announced that D23. This is what's coming. But then on the other hand, we're going to sprawl it out per quarter to save on cost and be budget friendly. But yeah, it's going to take forever to build the projects. And in the meantime of them building stuff, materials get more expensive. Things happen where they have to change stuff or cut stuff out, which hopefully does not happen. And then from what Jack from DSNY posted on his video, or he was talking about, was his predictions for the 2026 D23 event. And he actually thinks that it's really going to be a small, and I mean a small handful of new announcements for the parks. Meanwhile, you got a lot of stuff that they already announced at D23 2024 here in Anaheim, and they're just going to give updated details on that. So that's kind of a slap in the face, I personally think, because being an Inspired key holder, paying almost $2,000 and then paying all these insane prices for food, for merch, it's kind of like, okay, where we all draw the line at? I have a pass for the Disneyland Resort, and I have a pass for Universal Hollywood for content purposes for my channels, so you guys can tag along with me when I go into the parks and I film content. But it's concerning to me that Disney wants to sprawl out these projects, and their competitor Universal's like, no, we're not going to sprawl out projects. We're going to build them as fast as we can, as convenient as we can, and bring new experiences for our guests, for our annual pass holders, and show that we're investing in our parks. So I'm not sure about this. I'm not sure. Kiki and Lucas says, are you going to talk about the new Explorer Magic Key? It's $9.99. Yes, actually I am. Thank you, Kiki and Luca. I am going to talk about that. I got to find an article on that. Kiki and Luca, if you have an article on that, if you want to send it to me on my Instagram messages, I'll pull up that article and we'll talk about it for sure. Because I didn't even think about talking about that. I'm glad you brought that up. But you can message me on Instagram, Kiki and Luca, and I'll definitely check. I'll bring up that article and we could talk about it for sure. But I'm going to read this article in the meantime. It says, opening in later part of summer 2026. Oh, okay. There you go. Either Abby or Mermaid can do it. So either one of you guys can send it to me on Instagram messages. But it says, opening in later part of 2026, the magic of Disney animation will invite guests to step inside the world of Walt Disney Animation Studios at Disney Hollywood Studios. Disney has promised that guests of all ages can discover and animate characters as they leap from their portraits, exploring a playground inspired by Disney's legend Mary Blair's Alice in Wonderland concept art. But now they have announced that you'll be able to venture into Off the Page, a stunning area born of collaboration between the Walt Disney Animation Studios and Walt Disney Imagineering. And this is the picture of what they're talking about. Off the Page, character meet and greet, and the magic of Disney Imagination. It looks pretty awesome by far, and I love these old I love these old school pictures up here. I love that. It says here characters from Disney stories representing 6 unique departments from the animation studios will be waiting to greet guests. Each space will host an incredible photo opportunities, like Milan posing with an oversized story board panel in the story department, or Rapunzel surrounded by a setting inspired by the classic multi-plane camera in the layout department. While these 2 characters have been revealed, the other 4 that will be offered remain a mystery for now. The new magic of Disney animation at Hollywood Studios. I love that concept art. I love that. That's so awesome. Um, let's see. Okay, Haunted Mermaid, I'll definitely bring that up. Thank you for posting that to my Instagram. I'll definitely pull it up as soon as I'm done with this. It says the original attraction was located in an animation courtyard from the opening of Disney's Hollywood Studios back in 1989. So that's when they originally had animation courtyard is in this area, and until 2015 when it was replaced by Star Wars Launch Bay. It offered a behind the scenes look into the Disney featured animation building where films like Lilo and Stitch were created before the studio closed in 2004. The experience will return in 2026 as a place where kids and kids at heart can laugh, draw, dream, and explore animation new experiences. The attraction will have a Mickey Sorcerer's hat facade like the Roy E. Disney Animation Building in Burbank, California, as well as a reimagined interior taking inspired from the Disney Animation headquarters. As part of this change to Animation Courtyard, the Disney Hollywood Studios archway was demolished and Star Wars Launch Bay was closed permanently. Just next door, Disney Junior Mickey Mouse Clubhouse Live will debut earlier in summer 2026. So it looks like they're pushing for a 2026 opening date, so that should be very, very, very interesting by far. But let me go to my Instagram real quick, guys, and I'm looking over here because this is my second screen that I have set up for my live stream. So bear with me 1 second, guys, while I pull this up here. Okay. Let me see. Because Haunted Mermaid sent me something, and then okay. Okay, here we go. This is uh there's another website, so I'm gonna pull this up. And Haunted Mermaid, I did see the post, so thank you for also sending me the link as well from Theme Park IQ. But it says Disneyland introduces new Explorer Key for 2026 plus returning entertainment. So basically Kiki and Luca, and again, thank you for bringing that up, is the Explorer Magic Key. That's a new key that's coming to the Disneyland Resort, but also replacing the Enchant Key, which we've had for quite some time. So let me blow up my there we go. That way we can actually read it. It says Disneyland Resort is expanding its Magic Key program with a new option for guests. The Explorer Key will go on sale on January 13th, 2026, so only a few weeks. Oh, okay. So you sent that? Okay. You know what? Actually, because they probably have a better article, so let me actually click on that one. Thank you, Haunted Mermaid. Appreciate that. Let me go here. Okay, here we go. Let me just okay. Let me share my screen. Thank you, Haunted Mermaid, for sharing that. Appreciate it. Okay. Okay. Let me just get rid of this ad here. Pesky ads. This is from Disneyland News Today. So this is going to be the key that I was just talking about. But it says the Disneyland Resort website has information about the new Magic Key Pass, the Explorer Key, which is a replacement for the retiring Enchant Key. Gosh, yeah, Magic Keys are so expensive, and Kiki Luca actually posted about that. It's crazy how much Magic Key prices have gone. Yeah, it's insane. And Haunted Mermaid actually warned me of this. She said early on, she's like, uh, are you gonna go on a rant? I might, because this kind of stuff kind of spices me up a little bit when we're dealing with, overpriced, annual passes, overpriced food prices, and overpriced merch. Just everything overpriced at the resort. And what new things do we have to enjoy? Almost nothing. We're like in between right now, and it's kind of sad. But it says starting January the 13th, 2026, the all new Explorer Key Pass will join the Magic Key family. Okay, here we go. It says what is the Explorer Key Pass? The Explorer Key Pass is a new Magic Key Pass making its debut on January the 13th, 2026. With an Explorer Key Pass, you can explore the parks on select dates during each season, including summer. Explorer Key Pass price is basically $1,000, so it's $1 short of that. Crazy. Benefits include, it says reservation-based park hopper admission with the ability to hold up to 4 theme park reservations at a time, up to 10% off select merchandising and dining, 25% off parking at Toy Story parking area, and 25% off a Lightning Lane multi-pass. When does the Explorer Key Pass launch? This new Explorer Key Pass will be available while supplies last, again, starting on January 13th, 2026. So, again, this is the crucial part right here that I want to read. It says, then the Enchant Key will no longer be available for purchase or renewal starting January 13, 2026. If you are currently an Enchant Key holder, you can keep using your pass until it expires. When it's time to renew, you do so on or after January 13, 2026. You have the option to renew into a different pass type, including a new Explorer pass. So I want to bring that up because they make a great point here. But let's say your Enchant Key Pass does not expire until after January the 13th, 2026. Those people that have the Enchant Key should have the ability to upgrade to at least this new key. Even if it's blocked out for everyone else, they should have that option. Now, I'm not saying they should have the option for the Believe or the Inspire. Maybe. I don't know. But at least have the ability, once their pass expires or is about to expire, and you get that email from Disney saying, do you want to renew your pass? Regardless if it's blocked out or not, those people that have the Enchant Key that their key is expiring after January the 13th, 2026, no matter what, should have an opportunity to buy this new Explorer key. So hopefully Disney does it that way. We will have to see and find out. But Kiki and Lucas says, Abby, oh, Abby's funny. Abby's hilarious. Haunted Mermaid 13 says, it's so sad because working merch this time around in the park, I can understand families enjoying the little magic at downtown Disney while not being able to go to the parks. Yeah, no, 100%, Haunted Mermaid. I couldn't agree with you more. Abby says, just renaming the Enchant Key to see if people will fall for it. Is it new? I don't know. I people fall for things all the time, so we'll have to wait and see. Haunted Mermaid 13 says it was so cheap back 20 years ago when I was in attractions. I remember that because I was in my early teens. And I have to tell you, it, it was cheaper. It was a lot cheaper. Um, Abby also says, yes, when it was an annual pass, it was more affordable. 100%. Haunted Mermaid 13 says, Kiki and Luca, I would talk to tons of guests that would drive 2 hours away to come to downtown Disney. And I'm one of those, Haunted Mermaid 13. I live, I wouldn't say 2 hours, but close enough. Um, but yeah, it's crazy that we go through this. But and a lot of people that have actually checked out this pass or heard details about this have actually said this is actually a worse deal than what the current Enchant Key offers. So I don't know how in the hell that's going to work. I don't know. But here's a little letter from the Magic Key Holder department. It says, "Hi, Magic Key Holder. We want to let you know that the Enchant Key will no longer be available for purchase or renewal starting January the 13th, 2026. Your current Enchant Key will remain valid until its expiration date, so you can continue enjoying its benefits until then. If your renewal date is before January the 13th, you still have the option to renew your Enchant Key for one more year. Being January the 13th, you'll be able to choose from other Magic Key types, including the new Explorer Key Pass, which will offer similar benefits to your current pass, but expanded across during the summer months. We appreciate you being a part of the Magic Key community and look forward to welcoming you back to the Magic on your next visit." So this is just a bigger version of what I just read. So in a way, I guess it's basically the Enchant Key with a different name because they broke it down. It's only $25 more, but I don't know if the benefits are really that much better than what the Enchant Key was. But who knows? Haunted Mermaid 13 says, I found tickets that were like $100. That's crazy. That's just insane. This key is better sparkle with the new name. Okay. Kiki and Lucas says, I think you get some summer dates with the Explorer Pass. I you know what? When I had the Enchant Key before, I said, you know what? For my channel, for content purposes, I upgrade to the Inspire. I do remember having a lot of the summer months available, and I've heard from some people that they kind of cut back on the summer months, and then the fall months, forget it. It's like slim and in between. But then again, I could be completely wrong. So I'm not going to sit there and say that 100%. But my whole rant, and I love it, Haunted Mermaid and Abigail, what they're saying in the chat. It was so funny. But it is kind of like a Hollow Gelato George rant, because I get frustrated paying all these expensive prices for something, for a pass to a theme park that has nothing new to show for it. For example, we have issues right now where they're kind of they're battling back and forth between trying to decide when they're going to start construction again on the old Tortilla Joe's location. Then you got because they're supposed to have two restaurants, a high-end steakhouse, I think it's called Arthur's, and then the other one, I don't remember the name, but it's supposed to be a barbecue joint. Then we got, hopefully the final resting place for Earl Sandwich, which they're building a tri-level building. And I think the top building is supposed to be a Gordon Ramsay restaurant, which I have to confess I love Gordon Ramsay. I love watching Hell's Kitchen and Kitchen Nightmares. I've always been a fan of it because it's just the drama that goes on in those shows is just hilarious. But his food is actually very, 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 very good. So I can't wait to try it when it does open. His restaurant's going to be like a tavern, so I'm very curious on what food items they are going to have for his restaurant. So you will catch me in that restaurant, because if they have like the fish and chips and stuff like that, I'm definitely going to be there to try that. Haunted Mermaid 13 says Costco has the deals, correct? I see lots of yes, they do have the deals actually. They do have the deals. Because I work at Costco, and yeah, they have a really good 3-day ticket deal that you could buy at Costco. So if you're a family of 4 or just a couple or single parent taking your kid to Disneyland, I would definitely encourage to go to Costco if you have a membership, um and see if that ticket offer works out for you guys, because 3 days for what they're offering is not bad. Um, and again, that's exclusively at Costco, so definitely go check that out before it disappears. Um, Giant Peter's Adventure said Gordon Ramsay is basically George times 1,000. You know what? It's kind of funny. I kind of see it a little bit. I kind of see it a little bit, because George has a lot of passion when it comes to the Disney parks, and he's like me. He's someone that wants to see growth happen faster than what it's happening currently, and not have to pay the insane prices and try to justify paying those prices with nothing new. So George and I feel the same exact way by far. Abby says George had a rant yesterday at Knott's. Oh God, I can't wait to hear about that one, Abby. I'm sure George will call me and tell me about it. Haunted Mermaid 13 says, would you rather see downtown Disney have the variety of restaurants like Universal does, or continue what they have? You know what? To be honest with you, Haunted Mermaid, I wouldn't mind seeing more variety. I don't mind that. But going forward, like for example, you have oh my gosh, Din Tai Fung, right? Beautiful restaurant. Absolutely beautiful. The food is amazing. It is pricey, but absolutely beautiful restaurant. Problem with that restaurant is they made it so unique to that theme. Let's say let's say Din Tai Fung in 10 years wants to leave. What are they going to do with that building? Are they going to bring in another tenant that has that kind of Asian type of culture and food into that building, or are they going to have to tear it down and build something else there? So they kind of shot themselves in the foot when they did that. um Personally, for me, I want to like to see more structural buildings like Splitsville, like Jazz Kitchen is now, and Citrico and all that, where it's basically kind of it has a theme to it, but the building is kind of universal in the way where they can throw any tenant in there and kind of decorate it to that type that theming for the restaurant that occupies that spot. So Din Tai Fung, don't get me wrong, beautiful restaurant, but they kind of made it very unique to them. Abby says, Giant Peter's Adventure, lots of rants at Knott's yesterday, from the service to the table, availability to the food. Oh, geez, I can't wait to hear this one. Haunted Mermaid says, too much mac and cheese at Knott's. Oh, geez, here we go. Oh, Lord. But in all seriousness, though, that's the new key that's going to be happening at the Disneyland Resort. And then I'm just going to bring this up real quick. Let's annex this. So this is a video that George is gonna have, or George, I'm so sorry, I'm tired. David has. So I'm gonna play this real quick. And actually, you know what? Actually, I think David did a video on that subject we just talked about, the Explorer key. So actually, We're going to play that video first since we're kind of still on the subject. But at any point, if I start seeing your guys' comments, I will pause the video and try to answer those comments.
Enchant keys are out. Explore keys are in. Soon Disney will stop selling enchant keys and begin selling a new Explore key. Of course, the obvious question is, what's the difference? What's in it for you as the guest? But the question that I would want to ask is why? Why would Disney feel the need to make what is seemingly an unnecessary change? Let's break it down and try to find out. There are 4 magic keys presently. There is the Inspire key, the top key, the Believe key, the former Enchant key, and then the Imagine key. No other changes to the other keys, no changes to Inspire, Believe, or Imagine. They're going to be exactly the same. And for what it's worth, it feels like the Enchant key and the Explorer keys are also almost exactly the same. We'll talk about that in a second. On January 13th, you will no longer be able to buy a
And then I just want to get to 2 comments. I'm so sorry, SH John, for not answering your comments. You said I'm is sure any of the restaurants at Universal can match some of the ones in downtown Disney. Absolutely. You also said more than 1-star Michelin restaurants by far.
Shanky. Not that you can buy them now. They've been off the market for a little while now. The only keys you can get right now actually are Inspire and Believe. January 13th, you'll no longer be able to buy the Enchant key. You will be able to buy the...
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI
Explore key. I'm trying to keep these names straight. Those who do have an Enchant key today will be able to continue using that for as long as they are active until they expire. But when their expiration date does come up, you will not be able to renew the Enchant key. You can only renew into one of the higher key keys or the new Explore key. For what it's worth, I would imagine on that January 13th that they would probably start selling the Imagine key also for those who are interested. I'm thinking they're going to open up sales for everything on January 13th. Possible that they would stop selling Believe and Inspire. This is the way they've been doing it lately. They've been selling 2 and not selling the other 2, and then they just go back and forth. That's been the trend of late. We'll see on January 13th. So what is the value of this new key for Magic Key holders? What's in it for you? And it's actually, well, it's a minor switch, really, and that's it. The discount is the same for merchandise and food ordering. No change there. The discount is the same for parking at Toy Story. You get the same deal there. You can also still just make the same 4 reservations. That hasn't changed. We haven't seen a proper reservation calendar yet, or blockout calendar yet. But what they're saying in this notice is that the value for this new key is that they're going to expand the availability of day or weekday reservations, as I understand it, weekday reservations for the summer period. Right now, the Enchant key has limited access. As a matter of fact, it's just the first 4 days in June. And then all of July is blocked out. And then August is not bad, but it's no weekends in August. But most of the weekdays are available in August.
So 7H John said, are the keys actually nice metal keys like Apple metal credit cards, or are they just still the plastic cards? I haven't been in a long, well, actually, 7H John, actually, out here at the Disneyland Resort, we don't even have physical cards anymore. Because I remember, actually, it's funny you mention that, because I have mine right here. Where is it? Let me see. How many of you guys remember this? Remember these keys? This was an annual pass key. Well, they didn't call them keys back then. They call them annual passport. These are actual like cards, like almost like a debit card. And I wish to God the Disneyland Resort would go back to this, an actual card, and have the option to either have an actual card like this or have it on your phone and add the Magic Key card like this to your Apple Wallet. So I wish to God they would come out with these cards. The only one that I know of that has cards like this is Walt Disney World for their they don't call them Magic Keys, but annual passes, but they actually have cards like this. So I just wanted to bring this up because I found this the other day. But I wish to God we had actual cards because it would be nice. It would be nice, but obviously the Disneyland Resort's not concerned with that, and it's kind of sucks in a way. Haunted Mermaid 13 says, please hit that like button and subscribe to Theme Park Conductor. Thank you so much, Haunted Mermaid 13. Always a great supporter of Theme Park Conductor, one of our newer followers on the channel. And also, I just want to remind everybody before we continue forward, I do have a channel membership on the channel. You could go check that out. More content is to come, but if you want to show your support, you can always subscribe to Theme Park Conductor. You can send a super chat in these live streams, and you can join the Theme Park Conductor membership, paid membership. So I do want to thank everybody for watching tonight so far. I do appreciate all the love and support.
I would guess what they're trying to do is make things more available in June is my guess, or June and July is my guess. Now, they're not just doing this for nothing. And I don't even mean the $25 increase, which, by the way, there is. Enchant keys are presently selling for $9.74. They're going to sell the Explore key for $9.99. That's a $25 increase, which some people are looking at, it's not a lot. that's not even, it's what, 5%? Something like, well, you know what? Let's find out. Not even that. 2.5%. So it's not a big deal in terms of the price increase. It's a very modest increase. I don't even think necessarily that that's the point of this. I'm not even sure if that's the point. We're going to talk about the why. Stay tuned for the why. We're going to get into that, but I don't believe that they're doing this just to collect that $25. There's something else at play. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and get into that. The first question you might ask is, what's the point of the rebrand? Why not just add the dates, the June or July dates, presumably because we haven't seen a calendar, to the Enchant key? Why not just say, here's the new Enchant key here, or I should say, here's the new dates for the Enchant key, and just leave it at that? Why go through this change in the brand? But it's a psychological thing, and this is the why. If they simply did that and then charged the $9.99 that they're planning to, people would say, well, this is basically the same pass that I'm just paying more for. But I mean, they're going to say that anyway. You're going to say that next year when they raise prices. We're not getting, every year when they raise the prices, we don't get that question. We're paying more for and not getting anything more. That's as common and as old a story as there's ever been when it comes to Magic Keys or Disneyland tickets. So again, I'm not sure. I mean, yeah, $25 is something they're going to sell. I don't even know how. It's not a lot. Disney doesn't publish these numbers, but the estimation is about 400,000 total Magic Keys. So Enchant, let's just pretend that Enchant is a quarter of that. There's one of 4 passes, so that's 25% of the passes, and that would represent 25% of 400,000. So we'll call it 100,000.
Every month, this Airbnb pays me about $2,700 in semi-passive income. Now, here's the
times $25. They're going to make $2.5 million.
So, okay, so if David's calculations are correct, $2.5 million they're going to make on one pass or one key out of the 4. $2.5 million. But yet they can't be accommodating. That's where I have a problem. It's just me. And again, I can go on a rant for another 2 hours on just this alone, but it is kind of irritating.
If everybody bought one, the same amount of people, that's not going to move the needle on whatever it is that Disney's trying to do this year or any other year in the future. It's just not enough. It's just not enough money to go through all this process. So I feel like that there's perhaps a deeper reason why they're doing this, and why it has to be a rebrand. Because as I mentioned, it seems ridiculous to go through all this to make a brand new key, to close one and start another, and create all this confusion if there's really no difference in the key. So it isn't necessarily the benefits, the June benefits, and it isn't necessarily the price. I believe the real reason. Neither of those are the actual reason why they're doing it. It's the rebrand that is the point. The rebrand is the point. Anytime you create a new product, whatever kind of business you're in, you're doing that in order to draw more attention to that product. Every now and then, Coke will change the logo a little bit, or they'll go New Coke, or they try to create something. People change their logos or their some sort of minor element of the product that they're selling in order to create more energy, in order to create more attention on that brand, right? And there doesn't even need to be a change in the actual product. So why then, if we keep working this process back, why then are they in need of changing the brand? Well, in that sense, I do think that it may relate to the June dates, because we've been saying for years now, for the past couple of years, that summer has been dead. Summer is a dying season. It's just incredible to watch. Pre-COVID, when I first started doing this show 10, 12, 13 years ago, summer was the season. That was like, oh my God, summer's here. All the families are going to show up. All the kids are going to show up. It's the busiest time of the year. And I remember saying, even that long.
So I want to get to two comments. They said, why is Disney getting rid of the keys? It doesn't make sense to me, but I think it was a bad idea. Don't do it. I don't know what's happening. I'm worried about it before what he was a bit more important. No, it's not that they're getting, well, they're getting rid of one key to replace it with another and upcharge it by $25. And then there's some other details I'm not sure is either better or for the worse than what they currently have. Abby says, yes, that's what I thought. The new name gets people curious for the item, so they are hoping people will buy it, buy the new key with the increase. Absolutely.
Long ago, that there's a certain point in the first 2-3 weeks of the summer season was the deadest we'd seen the park all year. And I'm going back 10, 12. I mean, I don't know if I could find the video where I say it, but I've said it. I remember saying it at least 2 or 3 times in a row, 2 or 3 summers in a row. Summer is a dying season at Disneyland. And it's been getting worse, getting worse and worse. And then last year was not great at all. We had a very poor summer at Disneyland, as far as I can tell. From my impressions of the crowds and everything, I kept saying this can't be what they want. There's no way that they're happy with this product. There's no way that they're happy with these attendance levels. And I was saying the same thing the year before. So in that sense, yes. But I think that they're trying to, in a general sense, they want to sell, more of the lower grade Magic keys, not more Inspire keys. They're, that's just, matter of fact, they might rebrand that one later to a higher price point. Watch that.
I hope not.
But they're not trying to sell more Inspire. It's normal. They're open for sale, but it's not a push per se. The push is for that enchant key. And the way they do that is by creating a little bit more availability in the summer because their Magic keys they can't go. And so that's one of the reasons why I think people are not renewing, is how difficult it is to get reservations because they're blocked out or because of the reservation system. So it makes perfect sense that in order to draw attention, you have to make it seem like it's a new thing. And anytime you see as a buyer, as a purchaser, as a consumer, anytime you see something that is new, you think better, right? You think improved. Those two words always go together, new and improved. This is the new and improved enchant key, the Explorer key. And it is, I guess, in a sense, because, they are giving you those, well, presumably the new summer dates that we don't know what those dates are yet, mind you. Now, by the way, I would expect there to be some kind of trade-off here. And it's not just the $25. There is going to be a trade-off there for somewhere. I'm not sure what it is yet, but it's certainly not, they're not just going to give us this. They're not just going to give us value. I mean, it'd be great.
So Giant Peter's Adventure said, like if the name the past the Conductor key. Oh, you're too kind, Giant Peter's Adventure. Or George the Italiano key. People would get interested. Oh, heck yeah. Or, hey, or even the OG key. I love it. Man, you know what? We might have to, I might have to talk with OG and George from Hollow Gelato and see if we can make some type of branding. I wouldn't mind that. That'd be kind of cool. That's an excellent comment, Giant Peter. I love that. I love that.
Hooray for Disney if they did do that. But I just, knowing them and how any business, really, not just Disney, but how they never give anything away for free. They've been, charging us for things that used to be free. So why are they going to, that would be a complete twist, a complete departure from normal operating procedures for the past, 4 or 5 years or whatever, or longer. So that's the reason why I think it is. I think they want to sell more. They want to sell, obviously, they want to sell more enchant keys or more magic keys to that specific consumer they want. That is their ideal consumer. And they want to try to encourage people to come into the summer when they're not, when they haven't been coming. But in general, the rebrand is to only put more focus, more attention on the Magic Key program in order to create more energy and more excitement. If they were to just add these dates to the enchant key, you wouldn't get that same change in energy. If they were to just say, would people even notice?
So
would they even?
So Haunted Mermaid 13 says, I'm still waiting for those animatronics playing the banjos. Yeah, no kidding, right? No kidding. That's what I'm waiting for.
Even notice? Probably not. They probably wouldn't even notice. Even if they made an announcement, we're adding more dates to the enchant key, you might not get the same amount of attention as if you did, or if you had rebranded it to the Explore key. Stay tuned for more, because when we get that calendar, we'll start making comparisons and see what days we're losing and what days we're getting. Although, like I said, the June.
So when he drops this video, I will definitely be doing a video with Orange Grove 55 or George the Disney Italiano when Disney actually drops the dates for the new Explorer key that's replacing the Enchant key, and we'll do a comparison, find out which one was better, the Enchant or this new Explorer key. So thank you, David from Fresh Baked Presents. That is his sister channel on YouTube. So I definitely appreciate it. The last thing I want to talk about, and this is going to be very, very, very short. This is going from Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Who's seen that? Who in the chat have seen Five Nights at Freddy's 2? Abigail, I know you don't qualify for this because you didn't see it, but George saw it. I saw it. Tommy Toon World saw it. Who else in the chat saw this movie? Who saw this? Let me know in the comments. Abby says, oh man, 4-hour live with Conductor and Hollow Gelato. Oh, it's possible. Me and George are two natty chatties, so it's possible. Remy D says, I haven't seen part 1 yet. You know what? It's funny. I just saw part 1 like a week ago. I had to rewatch it because I wanted to get familiar with the storyline again to watch FNAF 2. I know you took a nap, Abby. I know you did. Giant Peter's Adventure said, I have heard everything about it. Okay. All the rants. Oh, God. Abby's nap review. Believe me. That's not for me to say. That's for Abigail to say in one of the Hollow Gelato's videos. Maybe a member-only exclusive video for that one. But I do have to say the animatronics in this movie, and just how much action there was compared to the first one, because the first one, it kind of tells the story of Five Nights at Freddy's. It kind of walks you through the story, So you don't really start getting action until like middle towards the end of the movie. I kind of feel from how I watched it. Five Nights at Freddy's 2, it seemed like there was action pretty much consistently throughout the entire movie. So right now we're gonna watch the trailer of it, and this is just a trailer. It's not a spoiler, but it's just a trailer, and we're gonna watch that and take a look.
Trying to cry?
No.
You'll scream with Ella McKay.
Well, we should do that every afternoon.
Ella McKay, rated PG-13.
I'm very excited for everyone to see the marionette.
The marionette, she's a very important character in Five Nights at Freddy's.
There's just one ghost here in the marionette.
It's creepy as hell.
Hold on. That was kind of like behind the scenes. I want you guys to see the actual trailer, not the behind the scenes, because that kind of ruins it. Hold on. Bear with me for a second. Let me see. Trailer. Okay. Let me get that for you guys. Here we go. Okay. Let me share my screen so you guys can take a look. Abigail, if you don't want to see this, you can turn away or... Yeah. Okay.
Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Definitely not the Freddy's I remember.
You're thinking of the franchise location. This is the original. Nobody's been here for decades. Some little girl got murdered here. Do you guys hear that?
Hear what?
So this is what it's like? Being normal?
I think we've come pretty far, considering what we've been through.
How's Abby?
Some days she's good. Some days she misses her friends.
This story that you're gonna fix those animatronics? It's only giving her false hope.
Can any of you hear me?
Abby, help us. Come find us. I will show you the way.
Oh no.
They're out there, Mike.
Where?
Everywhere.
Where are you gonna run to? We're not done with you.
There's no way that'll work.
Okay, so I have to tell you guys, because I saw some of your guys' comments, so I'm going to bring those up right now. Remy D says the horror genre is hot right now. It is hot. It's very hot. Zachary Cleary, I don't think you've been on a Conductor Sunday live stream, so thank you for joining. It says, I'm about to see Five Nights at Freddy's 2 this week. You know what? I don't think you'll be disappointed. It had a lot of action, a lot of or a decent amount of jump scares. So I think you'll absolutely enjoy it if you saw the first one by far. Haunted Mermaid 13 says working at Haunted Mansion and Holiday was my horror. I love that. Giant Peter's Adventure says, how is Abby? She's good. Let's see. Abby says, yes, I'm back now. Okay, so she didn't want to watch the trailer, and I get it. But no, to watch Five Nights at Freddy's 2 in the theater, I'm telling you right now, it's a completely different experience than if you watched it at home. Just the surround sound, the bass that movie generates, it's just absolutely breathtaking. It's awesome. It's so awesome. I'm a thrill junkie and I love horror, so I love seeing it in the theater. 7H John says, I couldn't believe how many people were going to see the Freddy movie. Every seat was filled when I checked Fandango. Yeah. It's interesting because I'm kind of shocked that the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 movie is getting such a horrible Rotten Tomatoes score, because I thought it was phenomenal in my opinion. But 7H John says, I'm not sure if I'll see this one. I still have to watch the last Conjuring movie. The last Conjuring movie was pretty decent. I did not mind that. I want an I Am Legend 2 movie. Oh, same here. Will Smith is not getting any younger, and the fact that he's still doing movies, he just signed on. I saw it on a post. I think we're sitting in the theater waiting for the movie to start, and I think somewhere online, Will Smith signed on to do another Men in Black movie, so that'll be pretty interesting. Abby says the guys had a good time watching it in the theater. Yeah, we had a blast. It was awesome. Remy D says, crazy how Zootopia 2 is over 900 million worldwide. It is crazy. That's why I'm saying, with this whole thing about Pandora going in the Hollywood backlot, I think it's such a big mistake. I think the world of Avatar should go into the Simba parking lot. I think Zootopia should go into the Hollywood backlot, so you wouldn't have to tear any facade down Hollywood Boulevard. You could keep it exactly the same, and then have Zootopia, which is basically a metropolitan IP based off the first one and a little bit of the second one. It would save Disney so much money in the long run by doing it that way. I don't know why they're married to the fact of putting and shoving Avatar in the Hollywood backlot. I don't understand it. But Abby says, but I don't want to hold the guys back, so I go to the theater with my eye mask and noise canceling headphones. She did. She's a trooper. She is definitely a trooper. Let's see. FNAF 2 is very peak. Very peak or very weak? Park Explorer Adventure, if you can clarify that. I think you meant to say weak. Abby says, my rant, Zootopia goes into Hollywood land in DCA. Absolutely. I could not agree more with Abby and her husband, George, the Disney Italiano from Hollow Gelato. Yeah, I think it's a huge, and I mean a huge mistake putting Avatar in the Hollywood backlot. Huge mistake. 7H John says, I wish they put Avatar where Avengers Campus was going. You know what? I actually kind of thought about it, and that would have not been a bad option. But then again, I'm okay where Avengers sits, because in a way, I kind of feel it's possible, not guaranteed, but possible, that we can have another attraction go into the Hyperion footprint that could be for Avengers. So it's more than possible, or the world of Avatar can take it. Who knows? Iskawa says K-pop Demon Hunters 2 movie is in the works by Netflix, but because a lot of people are a fan of K-pop music too, so much as well, I'm a fan of K-pop Demon Hunters. Absolutely. Abigail and George is actually warming up to the idea of K-pop Demon Hunters. Also, Madame Lizelle, which is a good friend of Abby and George's, she's really big into K-pop Demon Hunters, and several other people I know. So I'm sure a lot of people are excited for that movie to come out. Let's see. Okay, so Abby says Avatar should go into the Simba parking lot. a blank canvas, absolutely. And the construction would be so much faster if they put it in that area compared to trying to shoehorn it in the Hollywood backlot. It's such a horrible mistake that Disney's doing. Such a horrible idea. But again, they already have their mindset on it, so who knows at this point what's going to wind up happening. But I do have to say, regardless, I really hope with the world of Avatar, and I know James Cameron is really going to hold Disney's feet to the fire when it comes to Avatar. James Cameron is not going to allow Disney to cheap out on anything in that land. So that's one added bonus. I just don't know the whole backstory of how they convinced James Cameron on what Avatar is going to look like in the Hollywood backlot compared to putting it into the Simba parking lot, which would be a much bigger footprint. So who knows at this point what's going to happen. And Abigail says, agree with Conductor. Absolutely. And again, it's not personal biases. It's just, I just don't think an IP of that magnitude deserves to be shoehorned into the Hollywood backlot. First of all, it's not big enough, even with the bus load and unload area. Second of all, I think Zootopia would fit much better there because it kind of fits that metropolitan Hollywood vibe. And they wouldn't have to deconstruct almost anything down Hollywood Boulevard. They can leave the parade route alone and everything else. But why they decide to shoehorn it there, I will never understand that. Haunted Mermaid says, maybe with this Monsters delay, they'll change their minds about bringing Zootopia. Maybe they will. And I've told OG this dozens and dozens of times, just because of the concept art, just because of, Disney coming out and saying, oh, we're going to shoehorn Avatar into the Hollywood backlot does not make it so. I've said it time and time again, referencing Hey Bricky when he did a video a while back about this massive hotel that was supposed to be developed by a contractor that builds hotels for Las Vegas. The day the bulldozer showed up to tear down the old AMC theater, the Earl of Sandwich location, many other little shops to get rid of the ESPN Zone building and to possibly get rid of oh my God, I can't think of the name. The Rainforest Cafe. They canceled the plans due to tax issues. So you never know. You really honestly never know. Remy D says, if they're putting Avatar in Hollywood land, then they must be saving the park lots for something huge. Remember, we are not in the design room. Maybe they know something that are not telling us. No, absolutely. So I hope it is something worth sacrificing Avatar to be shoehorned into the Hollywood backlot for future IP lands. So who knows? At Haunted Mermaid says, what delay? Monstropolis? She's meaning Mike and Sully to the rescue, monsters in Hollywood, the Hollywood backlot. So that attraction, because like I mentioned earlier, Remedy, I don't know if you joined in at that time, David from Fresh Baked heard from contacts he has inside Imagineering saying that, originally Monsters, Mike and Sully the Rescue was supposed to close in early 2026, but now he's hearing that they might not close it until May of 2026, which is almost halfway through, or pretty much halfway through 2026. And then once they close it, they want to strip it for the animatronics and some of the show elements inside the attraction to possibly incorporate that into Monstropolis and Hollywood Studios, in one of the parks in Walt Disney World. So demolition might not start until late August, if not early September, for that whole area, which is kind of sad in a way. Remy D says, or Haunted Mermaid says, Remy the Monsters attraction. So she just clarified that. Isakwa says, I think Pandora, the World of Avatar, is going into the Sumpa parking lot as part of the Disneyland Forward. It would make more sense to go go there will it ever it won't happen. Disney's already made their mind they want to shoehorn it into the Hollywood backlot. And like Remy D says, maybe they have the Simba parking lot for something massive that we're just not thinking of and heard nothing about. So who knows? Abby says, don't get married to concept art or what they say, things can change. Absolutely. Me and George talk about it all the time on his channel. Abby also says, especially with a new CEO coming. And that's another thing, too. Are we going to see the single CEO, whether it's Josh Tomorrow or Dana Walden? I'm pretty convinced at this point it's Josh Tomorrow. But could they consider possibly bringing the dual CEO back, which the company started on the dual CEO. They had Roy in charge of the finances and animation, and Walt was kind of in charge of the park experiences and building Disneyland, building Walt Disney World. So the dual CEO position would not be such a horrible idea. That way, both sides of the company would not suffer. So it's not left to one person. But then again, Bob Iger did it. But Bob Iger kind of has a little bit of background of all areas that him as the only a single CEO this go around can handle. Giant Piers Adventure says Abby is starting to sound like a lot like George now. Of course, and I love that. I love that. But again, I want to thank everybody for joining tonight's Conductor Sunday live stream. I had an absolute blast talking everything that we talked about tonight, where it was the new Explorer Key Pass coming to the Disneyland Resort on January the 13th, 2026. Talking about the Netflix Warner Brothers merger and what this can mean for the Universal Parks, which I kind of vaguely talked about, but to kind of add to that, I think Universal Parks in general are going to really honestly benefit because, like I said, Netflix has worked with Universal before, bringing properties for HHN and other things. So I don't see them having a big issue with that, but we'll have to wait and see. And then, talking everything we talked about, it was a great time. I want to thank you guys so much for joining. And you guys are all amazing. Abby says, great live stream again, Conductor. Everyone, please like and subscribe to Theme Park Conductor if you have not yet already. Lots of great content. Absolutely. And Abby and George do a phenomenal job on Hollow Gelato. So please go check out Hollow Gelato. And two of our moderators that joined us tonight was Tommy Toon World. He has a lot of amazing content coming out on his channel. He just did a reel with Orange Grove 55 the other night. So definitely go check that out on his channel, which it should be on his channel by now. And then Orange Grove 55 for always being one of the best, closest friends I have, alongside with George from Hollow Gelato and his wife Abby, Tommy from Tommy Toon World, and so many others, where we just all hang out, we talk about theme parks, and we engage with our communities. You guys are awesome. But again, I'm your host, Theme Park Conductor. You can find me on YouTube and Blue Sky at Theme Park Conductor. You can find me on Instagram at theme_park_conductor. You can find me on X at Theme Conductor. You can find me on TikTok at Theme Park Conductor 1. And you can find me every Sunday at 5 or 7, or today at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for Conductor Sunday live stream, where we talk everything from Universal to Disney news, park information, and updates like the new Explorer Key coming to the Disneyland Resort. Also, as well, we have amazing guests like Hollow Gelato on the channel, Tommy Toon World, Orange Grove 55, Theme Park Wizard, Jared from Capture the Magic, and so many others as we break this all down. And I just want to remind everybody again, I do have a channel membership up on the channel. If you would love to show your love and support, definitely go check that out. I only have a handful of videos right now, but more are to come to the channel. And you can always show your support as well, sending super chats and super stickers during the live streams or any videos. So I definitely would appreciate it. But just you guys being here, liking the videos, subscribing to the channel, that is appreciation enough for me. But if you want to show extra support, you guys can explore those options as well. I will see you guys at next Sunday at either 5 or 7 p.m. for Conductor Sunday live stream. And one and hold Hen Geek Village, who has been an awesome supporter of Theme Park Conductor, just send a $5 super chat. Shout out to Hen Geek Village. You are the best. Well, you are the best, Hen Geek Village, for always being a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful supporter of Theme Park Conductor. Thank you so very much. And in about 12 minutes, Orange Go 55 is going to be dropping a video I just did with him earlier today. So definitely go check that out. That is at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we have a great conversation over on Orange Go 55. So definitely go check that out. Have a good night, everybody. Be safe. Be kind to one another. And I will see you guys next week, or I will see you guys in the parks. Have a good night, everybody.